welcome back. This is Grace.
Hi, this is Gowri.
All right, so what do we have for our ABC focus today?
Oh, today for our Blast from the Grassroots actually, which is a little altered. We since today is Anything Can Happen Friday.
Friday it is.
So we will be talking about football.
Football, yeah. All right, so where shall we start?
We will be starting with all the leagues because the football season has just started again after the World Cup, after the preseason, and a lot of transfers has been happening too over the last month. A lot of major changes to certain teams. Clubs that you think will never buy this player actually bought this player, and some players that you think will never leave this club actually left.
Okay, I hear a lot of politics and dramas going on, and also stories.
There is definitely a lot of drama happening in football, which people are not aware of, because I guess most people just choose to, maybe I should say most girls choose to just watch the World Cup.
Yeah.
And of course there's a lot of politics that happen in the World Cup as well, which is a lot more severe, I think.
It's complicated, I will say.
It is, but it's the same with all the league games, and I think at times this can also get really complicated because some teams just want to show off, like, hey, look, we have all the star players, and I'm talking about my favorite team, Real Madrid. Unfortunately, they have gotten to that point where they just want to have all the star players. The moment someone is doing well, they just want to quickly grab that guy.
Why is that? Is it just for the sake of fame for the team
itself? For the fame, yes, you're right. For the face value, because this player is doing really well, and they are going to get a lot of sponsorship. And when a player gets sponsorship, the club also gets a little cut from that, and then they make money from that as well. And that's why Real Madrid has all the famous players that you can name. Name me one famous football player.
The most famous guy that I know is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Exactly, and he's in Real Madrid.
Yes.
And you can name a few other famous players, and they're all in Madrid now.
Oh, la
so their face value is really, really high, and they are really focused on increasing their revenue, and also they are trying to focus on a younger team now. Younger team, and they are trying to increase their power that way.
One of the topics we shared for news commentary was Spain losing to France, which made you really sad about the news. But I would like to ask, how many major leagues out there when it comes to football?
There are actually a lot of leagues, but I mean, of course, every country has their own league. Even in Malaysia, we have our own football team and all. But the ones that get the most attention is, of course, the English Premier League.
Yes.
That is the most popular choice among everybody, especially Manchester United, of course. And we'll talk about Manchester United later, because I have a lot to say.
All right, I'll wait for that, I can.
Right, and yeah, so EPL is, of course, the most famous league of all. You have Manchester United, you have Arsenal, you have Liverpool, you have Chelsea, and a whole lot of other teams. And then you have the Spanish league, which is actually what I follow. And a lot of people criticize the Spanish league because they say there are only two teams, which is Real Madrid and Barcelona. And of course, they're just being sarcastic. There are a lot of teams. A lot
more.
Yeah, but usually the focus is on these two teams because they are like the powerhouse of Spanish football. It's always Real Madrid and Barcelona. And when it comes to the title, because at the end of every season, there's the title that they have to win, and it always goes down to these two teams.
Oh.
However, last season was not one of these two teams.
Then which one was it?
It was Atletico Madrid that won La Liga, where this morning we were talking about Diego Costa.
Yes.
He was the striker from Atletico Madrid. But of course he moved to Chelsea now, so he's not there anymore. So I guess we have less of a threat now because their good striker is gone. So it could be back to Real Madrid and Barcelona again this year. And then of course we also have the German league, and the thing about the German league is it's worse than the Spanish league because the critics always say that they have only one team.
One team. Why would I want to say
Because
so?
Bayern Munich just wins everything. It wins every match. Dortmund is really strong as well, and they have also defeated Real Madrid a lot of times. But even then, every time it comes down to the title, like you can just close your eyes. Okay, I know it's Bayern Munich that
Also, they
won
hold
it.
the most power from
Yes.
this Bundesliga, right?
And
Yeah.
most of the team from Bayern Munich were also in the previous Germany World Cup team.
Oh.
And you can see just how powerful they were.
See.
And the best thing about the German players is they don't just focus on one key player. It's not like, oh, if it's Argentina, it's Messi, and if it's Portugal, it's Ronaldo. They don't do that. So when Germany is playing, it's like anyone can score. Anyone can turn the game around.
So I hear that it's pretty balanced.
It is
In
very
terms of
balanced.
the players and also the system there. It's quite
Mhm.
organized.
And
But it's just that this particular team is so highlighted than
It
they
is.
compared to the other
and
teams.
they are really strong as well. And recently they also signed one of my favorite players from Real Madrid, who is Xavi Alonso. He is actually getting pretty old, and he's not being used as much in the team because, like I said, Real Madrid is trying to focus on a younger team right now. So they sold him off to Bayern Munich, and he seems pretty happy there. So good luck to him. And another team that is also, of course, there's also the French league, the Dutch league, and all. The Italian league is also quite famous, and they have a few notable teams like Juventus, like AC Milan, and then of course we also have the French league. And honestly, I don't know much about the French league, and the only team I know is PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, and that's only because their key player is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who is a Swedish guy, and he used to be in the Spanish league. And I think Beckham was there as well for a short period of time. But yeah, so all the leagues have just kicked off a couple of weeks ago. So I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen, who's going to win. I guess with Germany, we know it's going to be Bayern Munich again, probably. But yeah, with the other leagues, it'll be interesting to see who is going to win this season, especially with all the transfers that's happening.
Yes, and also the players in the particular teams are also transferred from one to the other. So I hear that a lot of changes are going on for this particular league that you called. So we'll see what we can talk about from here now. So what's the latest news that we can talk about?
I would like to start with Manchester United.
All right.
So they had a change of manager last season. I'm sure you're
all right.
aware of that. Sir Alex Ferguson is no longer the manager of the team.
So who's replacing him?
Who replaced him last season was David Moyes, and I think everyone would agree with me when I say he screwed up big time with the team, which is very unfortunate because he had some really good players. I'm not a big Man U fan. I'm not too familiar with the team, but I do follow the leagues, and I've been following for a very long time. And yeah, he had Van Persie, who's a very good striker. They had Rooney, but even then, David Moyes could not do much with the team, and everyone just kept waiting and waiting. Like, okay, he can do this. Let's just give him some time. But until the end of the season, it was very disappointing. You know, they didn't.
So
do
when it
well.
comes to changing managers, do team players also follow the manager to transfer to other team, or
No, they don't.
they just stay in the team and that they get used to the new manager they're coming in?
That's right. So what happens is the new manager that comes in also, he has to get used to the players that he has.
Of course.
Because when he's in a previous team, he's used to. Usually, the manager introduces like the tactics,
And the new
the
strategy,
lineup strategies. Yes. So when he moves to a new team, he tries to bring that with him, but that may not always work because different leagues play
Have
differently. Yeah. So when the managers can actually go from different league to a different league. It doesn't just have to be in between teams from the same. So, like for example, we have Van Gaal, who is now the manager of Manchester United, and he was previously
From different league.
training. He even trained with Bayern Munich at one point in Germany. So yeah, it can just happen. They can go from one place to another. We even had a manager from the Spanish league who is now in charge of the German team. So that change that's happening may not always work, like I said earlier, which is also the problem with. I wouldn't say problem. Maybe it's still early to use that word, but Manchester United is still struggling, and they did lose the previous few matches, and because of that, they have signed some really important players, and of course, the most important one would be Di Maria, who is from Real Madrid. He is a very seasoned player, and he does a very good job assisting the ball. Assisting is when you pass the ball to the striker of the team, and when that happens, Di Maria does a very, very good job with that. You know, he just knows when the right time to get the ball and to pass it to the striker. And I think it's a great loss for Real Madrid to have given him up, but at the same time, yeah, it's not really his fault, of course, because they bought a lot of new players, which means that he won't be playing as much. And no football player wants that. Nobody wants to sit on the bench. Nobody wants to just watch. You know?
Of course.
Yeah,
they love to play in the field itself. Yes.
So now that he's in Manchester United, hopefully he gets to. Well, he has been playing already. He played one match. Unfortunately, they lost. But we'll see what else he can provide to the team. They also signed Daley Blind, who is a Dutch footballer who plays in midfield. In midfield, and he is his previous team was actually Ajax, and now Manchester United has signed him. And along with that, we also have Falcao, who is from the Spanish league as well. So they made all these changes to the team, and they're coming up with a new formation. They're still trying to find out, what will work and what won't work. And I'm not very honest when I say this, but I wish them all the best.
Well, depends who you are supporting. Yes, but what's the major politics when it comes to transferring football players from one team to another? Other than getting used to all the system and then strategy, they have to get used to it.
Probably the major politics will be the price that they set for the player, because sometimes the player is not really that good, but because they just want him so badly and they just want to increase his market price, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna offer this much, and then he just becomes like the next big thing when he's really not that good in the first place.
But then there should be a balance between the fame and the play itself, no? Right?
There should be, and also sometimes the player is really good, but he's not being recognized, so they don't pay a very good price for him. And sometimes the clubs, going back to Real Madrid again, they like to compete to see, who can offer the highest price for the player, which club is the richest, which club has the more money, and all that. All that goes into the factors deciding about the transfer of the players as well.
Of course, I can understand from what you just said just now. With the budget that one club can hold, they can sponsor, they can train the team players better, and then to go for the better strategy to find for the next league. So I will say it's inevitable when it comes to choosing team players, and also choosing the right players and with the fame.
Speaking of players, who is your favorite player, Grace? Do you have a favorite team first?
A favorite team? Now you're asking, because I do follow World Cup, but I don't follow international leagues. But if you were to ask, I still do like Messi. Oh,
okay? So you're a Lionel Messi fan.
Yeah,
if you had told me that earlier, we would be enemies.
Oh, we
because
are in the same house.
remember what I said about Real Madrid and Barcelona?
Yes.
So he's actually in Barcelona. He's their key striker.
Oh, he is.
And I wouldn't call him the best player in the world, but a lot of people do. They They call him the best player in the world, and of course he has also won the Golden Ball multiple times, and so has Cristiano. But yeah, that aside,
no matter whether Spain lost in this the recent World Cup, I've seen he's playing a few times, and I was quite amazed how he played in the field. He's got really sharp eyes and the skills and the charisma when he plays the football, and he actually knows how to lead the team very well. That's when I was pretty much found it interesting and also amazed by his skills. Yeah.
The best part about Messi is just the way he dribbles. When he gets the ball, it just sticks to him like a magnet.
Yes.
No matter how many players go up to him, try to get it away.
And he knows how to get
right.
himself out of that opponents, you see? Yeah.
And going back to the international break right now, so there are some international friendlies going on, which I think we reported earlier about about Spain losing to France. And then we also, of course, have the Germany and Argentina. They call it the rematch, but of course it's not a rematch. It's so happened that for the international friendly, it's Germany against Argentina again, and this time, surprisingly, Germany lost as well.
Oh, what was the score?
The score was 2-4.
2-4.
So actually, I said surprisingly, but to a lot of people, it was not a surprise because the captain of the Germany team retired right away after the World Cup. And also one of their key players, who is a legend actually, Klose, he also retired from football. And so now they have to work with a new team. They are still trying to figure out. They are kind of rebuilding the team. I think that's
so it will take
a more
some
suitable
time
word.
To find back the chemistry.
But Argentina did well. They got their revenge from.
Oops, sorry to say, yes, from the World Cup. Yes, I can say that.
And one of my favorite players from Argentina, who happens to be Sergio Aguero, also scored a goal. So I'm really excited about that.
You're fully supporting them.
Well, actually, I support Germany, but
this time it means a lot to them. I mean, winning a World Cup, it has meant something to Germany, right?
Yes, definitely. Yes. But let's just go through who scored the goals. So for Germany, it was Schürrle and Götze. So originally, when I saw the lineup for the match, the starting 11, Mario Götze was not in the list. And I don't know if you remember, but when Germany won 1-0 in the World Cup, that one goal was caught by Götze.
Yes,
so,
that's correct.
So he was not in the starting lineup, but after that he came in substitution, and he scored. And I was right about that. I knew that he was going to, keep up that good job.
Yeah.
And so that was 2 goals for Germany. And on Argentina's side, they have 4 goals. And one from Sergio Aguero, which I mentioned earlier. And then we have Eric Lamela, we have Federico Fernandez, and of course, Angel Di Maria, who left Real Madrid and went to Manchester United. But yeah, so it seems that Argentina has
pretty structured team.
They managed to get their structure right, and they have this attacking team as opposed to the World Cup when they were more defensive. They were just trying to defend.
It is actually good positive energy from the World Cup they had faced. So it's sort of the boosting their energy, and they gain back the chemistry to find back all the spirit we call football spirit within the team itself.
So that's I think that's it for the international break. It will happen for about 2 weeks, so the league games will take a break. But let's just look at some of the matches. So the first match of the English Premier League was, of course, Man United and Swansea, which they won their first match. The score was 1-2. And then Liverpool has actually been doing pretty well as well at the start of the league. And they haven't won a trophy in a very long time. Liverpool. And their fans are just waiting like hungry lions, just hunting. And
I can still imagine once they just score one goal.
So when it comes to the English Premier League, I don't really have a favorite team, but I have been following Chelsea and Liverpool for a very long time, since back then when Steven Gerrard, Michael Owen were all playing. So it will be interesting to see as well who will be probably leading the table this time. The last league was won by Manchester City, which was kind of unpredictable as well, because just a few years back, no one would even really want to support Man City, but today, if you ask people, everyone's like, "Oh, Man City, just
so
because they
its
won."
fame in Malaysia
Right.
too.
But when it comes to football, it's not about the winning team. It's when you support a team and then you just stick with the team whether they win or lose. You don't just jump to Man City because like they're the
They just
champions,
won,
because they can
yeah.
just drop next season. You never know. And it could be, I don't know, Liverpool or Manchester United or any other team, maybe even
It's all-
Arsenal. Yeah, speaking of Arsenal, actually, Arsenal also had a couple of pretty good signings this season.
Yeah.
Starting with Alexis Sanchez, who is from Barcelona. He's an amazing player. I've seen him play for a few years now, and he's already scored his goal for Arsenal, and it seems like things could be looking up for them. And
I can see that when it comes to audience point of view and also fans base, it's also relationship that you have built up with your particular league or team for a long time, and also you do follow them. And like you mentioned, you just can't switch from one team to another like just overnight. Yeah, so I can see a lot of patience and also loyalty with a particular team that you built up, knowing the team players, and it's amazing when it comes to supporting one football team.
you are spot on there. I think when you follow a team, you get to know. Well, yeah, a lot of people say when you support a team, it's not because of the players. You just support the team. But I would disagree with that, because it's the players that make up the team. So, like when you've been following football for a long time, and then and you know all your players, of course. You know who are the strikers, you know who are the midfielders, you know who are the defenders, and you're familiar with their
system,
playing style and everything. And there's, like you said, there is actually some sort of a connection that's going on there. So, but when people start leaving the team and new players come in, of course you still support the team, but for some reason you just don't feel as connected anymore, because they're all new faces, and it probably takes some time for you to get used to these players and their way of playing.
So as a fan, you will also take some time to get used to the new team.
That is true.
But at the same time, you will still follow the all
You still support the team. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. So when your favorite player leaves, that's
when you expand your favorite teams again.
That maybe not really a favorite team, but I guess you become more open to
support the players.
Like I never used to watch Manchester United matches.
Oh, I see.
But now that Di Maria is there, I will unfortunately start watching.
Don't say unfortunately. Say fortunately. You're supporting another team. It's on your list.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of, I think I was talking about Arsenal earlier. So another one that they've gotten, another player, is actually Danny Welbeck, who is from Manchester United, and I'm really excited to see where Arsenal can go, because they have Sanchez and Welbeck, who are two very good players, and they also have Mesut Ozil, and Ozil he's been criticized a lot because they bought him for, I think, 42 million, which is just quite a lot of money, but there were a lot of debate, of course, like whether or not he's worth that price tag, and isn't he being too overrated and all. But no, I mean, he was injured for the most of last season, so we didn't really get to see him play that much. And also, personally, I think that the striker for Arsenal is not really there. He's still a bit slow sometimes when it comes to receiving the ball, and I think that could be a factor as well. But now that they have signed a couple of new strikers as well, so there's Olivier Giroud could step up his game and be more receptive, be more aware, because the relationship between the midfielder and the striker is probably one of the very important relationship when it comes to a football team. And that's why when he was back in Real Madrid, Ozil and Ronaldo had a very good relationship going on. So there are times when Ozil doesn't even have to look up. He just kicks the ball and he just knows where Ronaldo is. So they're still trying to get that momentum going in Arsenal right now. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, that was quite interesting to share your point of view. Yes, I'm afraid that we have to wrap up soon. I mean, it's the short time.
Yeah, we do.
Anything that you want to say before we end up this session?
Well, I mean, I'm really hoping that Real Madrid will do well this season. We did really well at the start of last season, but towards the end, it kind of just started dropping. And we recently also lost to Real Sociedad, a 4-2, which of course was disappointing because the first 2 goals were really encouraging, and I thought like, yes, we're gonna win this, but unfortunately we lost. But then again, it's still the beginning; it just started, so we'll give them some time. And yeah, I hope we win La Liga this season.
But you can never expect. From this is what I found from the World Cup, recent World Cup. I expected the one team to win, and then the other nation came over, and then they took it over, and I was so surprised by the result. So I will say, well, just do support your own on the favorite team, and then just be patient, and we'll see how it goes, like with this league that has just started.
Right, so that will be all from us for now. We will be back, of course, with our ABC Dialogue to have an interesting discussion about smartphones later on.